The characters of the Stormlight Archive have always been multifaceted, with deep connections to the readers of the series. While their journeys and their destinations are never known prior to reading the next installment, it helps to understand their recent paths and goals as we look ahead to another Stormlight novel. There will be dozens of storylines in the 5th book of the series, so our goal is to try to keep track of it all. So let's go over our favorite characters, their recent accomplishments and failures from Rhythm of War, and their potential paths in Wind and Truth. Now, this is your jumping off point if you are looking to avoid spoilers for any of the books listed here on the screen. This video does not consider or cover any potential preview chapters that may have come out by the time this video is published. Today we're reviewing Kaladin, Bridge 4, and Shallan, as we left them at the end of Rhythm of War. This video series is our preparation for Wind and Truth, as we try to cover as much as possible, leading into the climactic conclusion of the first arc of the Stormlight Archive. These videos wouldn't be possible without the awesome fan art from the incredible artists of the Cosmere community. Links to each of the artists' accounts can be found in the description. Check them out. Alright, let's get started. We'll review each character, starting with Kaladin, and continuing through the videos in a connection-based order. Kaladin's grueling Rhythm of War arc was capped by both failure to save Teft and triumph in realizing that he couldn't have saved his closest friend. Moash had come to inflict as much pain as possible on Kaladin, so he killed the original Bridge 4 sergeant. And though the man the Stormfather calls Son of Tanavast was deeply hurt by Teft's loss, he is finally able to internalize something he's known since the Battle of Thalen Field, but was unable to accept. Kaladin has just overcome his most difficult realization yet, that there are those he simply cannot protect. But although Kaladin spoke his fourth ideal, accepting imperfections in his efforts, he is able to save his father Lirin from being tossed off the edge of the Tower of Urithiru. The quintessential Windrunner finally has his shard plate, made of Windspren, which he used to stunning effect at the end of Rhythm of War to protect dozens of civilians from Odium's forces. The rest of Kaladin's family is also safe, with Hesina and Oradin still alive and well. And with his pre-oath vision of Tien, he knows that his connection to his little brother is unbroken, and that Teft encouraged him as well. While the leader of the Bridgemen has healed his slave scars that inspired the tattoos of Bridge 4 and the other bridge crews, Kal knows that he has more healing to do. While still grieving for Teft, he asks Dalinar if he can continue helping those with mental illness, instead of rejoining the fight. Kaladin feels that he's made a breakthrough in treating people like him with depression, so Dalinar asks him to go with Szeth to Shinovar to assist Ishar with his madness and learn the secrets the bondsmith Herald alluded to. So Kaladin will have to give leadership of the group therapy sessions to someone else while he's on assignment, but his new Windrunner abilities and mental health awareness will certainly help the mission in Shinovar. One quick note on Kaladin's Rhythm of War story in relation to the larger series plot. When Moash killed Teft and left Kaladin to suffer, this was Moash and Odium's attempt to hurt Kal so badly that he would turn to Odium and let the shard take his pain. Although Moash decided that fate for himself, he didn't actually want Kaladin to give in to Odium. He wanted his friend to take what he thought was the easier path of giving up on his life. After failing to convince the leader of the Windrunners to take his own life, Moash acted under Odium's orders, attempting to turn Kaladin into a servant of Odium. This process was certainly underway, as Kaladin's eyes glowed red with anger when he retaliated against the pursuer, killing the Fuse for the second time and dubbing him the defeated one. With Kaladin progressing through his ideal, Odium has lost another potential champion, his second in just over a year. This was a driving point that led Odium to approach Dalinar with terms for a contest, instead of waiting out any longer. We'll get to Dalinar and the duel in a later video, but for now, let's go over the rest of Bridge 4. With Kaladin being relieved of duty by Dalinar in Part 1 of Rhythm of War, Sigzil was elevated to Company Lord, taking over the leadership of the Windrunner fighting force. In his role as Company Lord, Sigzil has so far proven his worth in suggesting the diplomatic mission to lasting integrity and the honor sprint, as well as his efforts in the field helping take back Emil for the Coalition. Following the successful offensive, Sigzil assisted Dalinar in meeting with Ashar and witnessed the confrontation and power of an unchained bondsmith. Sigzil was also the one to discover Ashar's Spren experimentation notes before returning to the Coalition to regroup. With Sigzil's recent elevation, relationship with Hoid as an apprentice world singer, and other events not covered by the spoiler policy of this video, the current Windrunner Company Lord is sure to be front and center of anything involving Bridge 4 moving forward. Skar and Drehy went with Rock with most of his family to the Horneater Peaks prior to the occupation of Urithiru. Rock informed Kaladin that he needed to return home to face his people, whose culture he had wronged by fighting and killing Amaram at the Battle of Thalen Field. Skar and Drehy, who are often paired in missions, are leaders among the Windrunners, though due to accompanying Rock on his voyage home, they were not present at the occupation of Urithiru or the Amuli offensive. The duo returned in time for Teft's funeral, where their sergeant's body was soul cast in the breakaway market as a monument. Skar and Drehy also told Kaladin that Rock would not be returning, though we get no further information on the Horneater's status. Rock will be the focus of the upcoming novella Horneater, during his journey with his family, Skar and Drehy, to his homeland to face justice. One thing we know is likely to impact that story is Moloch, the unmade responsible for the death rattles, as our latest hint at its location was the Horneater Peaks. While that story won't be told in Wind and Truth, powerful Spren remain a large part of the plot, including Dabbid's messenger role with the sibling throughout Rhythm of War. Dabbid alerts Navani to the sibling's presence as the Tower of Urithiru itself, but only after acting as the scribe for the Spren in the unknown Spanreed communications with Navani. He also speaks for the first time since the bridge runs on the Shattered Plains in the Way of Kings, allowing him to act as a messenger between Navani and Kaladin as they resisted the occupation of Urithiru. While Dabbid has yet to bond a Spren, and still may never, the sibling led him to believe that bonding a Spren and speaking the ideals would heal his mind, as the Tower Spren thinks that he has brain damage from a childhood injury. Finally, Dabbid recognized Wit's flute as Kaladin's, which Lift had found in a pile of equipment brought back from the Shattered Plains. Lift gave the flute to Dalinar, who passed it back to Kaladin before directing him to the shop where it had been found. Here, Kaladin was able to find several Bridge 4 relics and a carved wooden horse from Tien that Kaladin had lost even before arriving at the Shattered Plains. Hopefully Dabbid's story progresses soon with similar impact to his Rhythm of War arc. The rest of Bridge 4 seems to have been holding back from swearing their fourth ideals in deference to Kaladin. Now that Kal has sworn his shard plate granting oath, the rest of the order may soon follow. Lopin just recently swore his third ideal, and once squires from outside Bridge 4, like Lyn, have also earned their shard blades. Other bridge crews and recruits have joined the ranks, all of whom were also unwilling or unable to swear the fourth ideal. But now that all may change, with Adolin and Maya convincing the Honor Spren to rejoin the fight and bond new Radiance. While we'll talk about Renarin and R'Lain in the next video, and Moash in the following video, it's unclear which, if any, of the original Bridge 4 crew will be in the limelight of the fifth novel. What are your predictions for our Bridge 4 characters? One character we know will play a pivotal role in Wind and Truth is Shallan. While her storyline has always been less action-packed than Kaladin and Bridge 4's, it's just as impactful to the series' plot. Shallan has routinely found secret after secret, and her Rhythm of War arc was no different, identifying the High Judge of Lasting Integrity as the Herald Kalak, and determining that the unmade Ba-Ado Mishram is the potential key to the conflict on Roshar. In confronting Kalak according to her orders from the Ghostbloods, she reintegrated Vale into her main personality, and chose not to attack the Herald in hiding. But while she said goodbye to Vale, who had been with her since her childhood, she accepted that she abandoned Testament when she was that child as well. Testament, the Deadeye cryptic Spren that Pattern attempted to reintroduce to Shallan while awaiting Adolin's trial, was Shallan's original Lightweaver Spren, the one she used as a blade to kill her mother. When Shallan accepted the truth that she killed her mother, Pattern lied, saying she used him as a blade so that she wouldn't have to confront too many painful memories at once. With Veil's reintegration, much of Shallan's memory from her childhood was restored, though she still has questions to figure out as she tries to sort through the returned memories. It's unclear if Shallan saying goodbye to Veil means that she has sworn her fourth Lightweaver ideal with Pattern, allowing for living Shardplate, but Radiant is still with Shallan. Perhaps Radiant's reintegration will be the step that unlocks that ability. Shallan also accepted that Formless was just an excuse for her own persona's base desires, and that persona nearly joined the Ghostbloods in full. That is, until Shallan made the choice to purposefully remember breaking her oaths to Testament and absorb Veil. Now Shallan forges ahead into further danger, declaring direct conflict with the Ghostbloods. Shallan's conversation with Kalak was enough to give her answers and new questions for the greater Cosmere, and she will now attempt to find the imprisoned Unmade, Ba Edo Mishram, before Mraize and the Ghostbloods can. Kalak says that her imprisonment is extremely important to the health of Roshar and those who inhabit it, and Shallan wants to stop the Ghostbloods from gaining access to such knowledge and power. Along with the information she recorded from the Herald, the leader of the Lightweavers and the Unseen Court now has a Sion, a Spren-like being that allows for communication across realms. Shallan also has the knife that Mraize gave her to imprison Kalak, a Razium knife with a gemstone at the pommel, just like the one that Moash used to kill Yezrian. With the extra resources, we will see if Shallan is successful in her quest in Wind and Truth, as well as if she makes any progress in rehabilitating Testament, potentially in a similar way to Adolin's work with his Shardblade Deadeye, Myalarin. Between Kaladin, Bridge 4, and Shallan, we understand the status of our original main characters from Part 1 of The Way of Kings. Do you think Shallan or Kaladin will play a bigger role in the outcome of Wind and Truth? Leave a comment below. If you have questions about the content or art used in this video, post them in the comments as well. We hope this has been helpful in reviewing the playing field ahead of the largest Stormlight Archive novel published to date, with likely the largest Sanderlanche in the Cosmere so far. In our next two videos, we'll cover the other point of view characters like the Kholins and Szeth. In the following few videos after that, we will discuss the status of the legendary and mythical figures of Roshar, and the final 10 days and El, all as of the conclusion of Rhythm of War, leading into Wind and Truth. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe for future videos. After all, we need to unarchive all these secrets.